Today we're going on a day trip to Grimsey, which is a tiny island in the north part of Iceland. This is actually the only place in Iceland where you can say you're in the Arctic Circle, so let's go. To get there, we'll need to take a ferry, and this is where we parked. And today we drove like 4 hours and a half to get here from Reykjavik. This is a place called Dalvik, and we are about to board the ferry. So this is what it looks like on board of the ferry. So the ferry takes about 3 hours to get to the Grimsey Island, and it is said that a lot of people get seasick. So hoping that today we're gonna have really good weather. However, it is recommended that you take a seasickness pill 1 hour before you board. However, I'm starting to feel a bit dizzy and sleepy. But I do provide seasickness bags right over there, in case you need them. To get to Grimsey, you have to get on this ship and stay on it for 3 hours. That's how long it's going to take to get here. The island is not really far away from the main land of Iceland, which is also an island, but it goes rather slow. Also, depending on your luck, you might encounter bigger waves. Or we made it to Grimsey Island. If you know that you have seasickness, you might want to get some pills in advance. You have to take one 1 hour before you get on the ship to make sure you're gonna feel okay. Actually, we took one each, and I don't know if it was the pill or it was because we were super tired because we woke up at 3 to drive all the way from Reykjavik to get to Dalvik, but we felt sleepy. It was kind of hard to sleep because it's a small space and everybody is in the same space, but I managed to close my eyes for a bit. However, if you're into photography, this is like a dream, and a lot of people come on this trip just to take pictures. Edward is rather excited. We are here just in time for Midsummer celebration, which is like a celebration of a summer solstice, which happened 2 days ago. So today is the 23rd of June, but the solstice is on the 21st. I don't know, don't ask me why is it like this, but this is when they celebrate. And I'm not sure exactly about the celebration, and that's why I'm super curious, because this island of Grimsey only has about 16 inhabitants. And now that a bunch of people got off the ship, I think that number almost doubled. So, yes, let's explore the only island and place in Iceland that is located in the Arctic Circle. Yes, Edward, thank you for coming with me to this beautiful island.
It's great. I didn't know what to do for 8 hours. Seemed like the best way to use my time.
Do you like it here?
What's not to like?
They have even it's sunny right now.
I used to think a few hours ago, why did they include this in Iceland? But the thing is that from here you can actually see Iceland, so really there was no way of ignoring them. So they took them in.
Anyway, so I want to show you this area over here. This is the city. This is a smaller port they have. That's where the ship comes. This ship that is like for tourists and people and cars. Not a lot of cars, like 3 cars. Also brings food into the city.
They even have a hot dog
They have Arctic hot dogs and a bunch of stuff. So what we're gonna do after exploring the multitude of attractions here in the city, They even have like a runway for the airport.
But you told me there was gonna be like a party here.
Yeah,
midsummer
summer celebration. I was looking forward to that. So I don't know.
Where would they be having that
The
party?
celebration?
If they wanted
Maybe
to.
there's like a special place we need to see. Oh, people rented bikes. I had no idea you can do that. Okay, now that lunch was served, let's see where are these many roads of Grimsey gonna take us. So one tip that Eddie told me about yesterday is that if you do not want to get seasick, don't eat a lot or at all before getting on the boat. Well, like not the hour before, so I ate like 5 hours before. It was okay. And refrain from eating on the boat, but I saw people eating now and nobody got sick. So I think we were really lucky with the weather because it's super calm and it's nice. Good, really good visibility. And from here, Iceland does look like it's covered in a lot of snow and probably ice. And oh, the real reason we are here on Grimsey is actually to observe the famous puffins, which are quite popular here in Iceland. They're like called the parrots of the sea or maybe ocean, because they're very interesting looking, and you can see a bunch of these on the cliffs of, you know, places around here. Puffins, the main attraction today's trip. Also, the midsummer celebration that I mentioned, I was not kidding. I read that if you truly want to celebrate midsummer, you have to come here, which we did. But given that there are not a lot of people on the island, I'm not really sure what the celebration is about. This is not a joke. So, 2 things to investigate.
If you want to be honored and live forever, you can do what this guy did, Mr. Fiske. He was an American and he heard that people on this island really liked chess. So what he did is he sent them a bunch of chessboards. Now, they liked that gift so much because nobody else sent them squat that they still honor him, and there's an annual celebration held on the 11th of November, which also happens to be the birthday of the world's greatest driver and biggest bird lover over here. But other than a photograph of some people playing chess, we don't know if it's actually true, if people really do like it that much.
Okay, here and here, and we are here right now, so we can either go left or right. This is the monument over here, I guess.
Yep.
This is water, symbol for water. Okay. Nice guy.
Because this happened in the 19th century, so it was kind of like somebody sending you PlayStations. It's walkable in any forms.
And the highest point is 105 meters above sea. Shortest day of the year, daylight lasts for 2 hours and 15 minutes. While for a month in summer the sun never sets, it is bright right around the clock. Well, this is an interesting map. So they made a bunch of hikes. 3 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours. The ferry stays here for only 5 hours, so you cannot do it all. What's more interesting is that this is the Arctic Circle line, so not the entire island is in the Arctic Circle, just this part, and it's moving up each year. That's interesting. We have identified as many birds on the water as being the puffins, the bird that we are, oh, look at this. The bird that we are looking for. And also, you see the small underground tunnels. These are made by them. The puffins live around coastlines. Oh, there was a puffin. You missed it. It was right behind, in front of you. And they come at the shore, like here, in their mating season, which is now June, July, summer months. And they find a mate, which is forever. And then they lay eggs in one of these things. They dig up tunnels And then after they have their babies, they go out in the ocean again. And then next year they do the same. That's kind of cool. So they look really interesting. Yeah, they're with their mates forever. Like penguins. We've been watching the puffins for 1 hour almost, and they are majestic creatures. Unfortunately, they're surrounded. Wow, that was nice. They're surrounded by other creatures and birds, and some attacked Edward earlier. It was kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie, but they now went off, and I started to feel a bit of a challenge because at first I felt like this island is not that big, but right now we are in the middle of it and I cannot really see the end of it. I mean, there's some sort of monument for crossing the Arctic Circle here in Iceland, but according to the map, this round trip, it's a short hike of 3 hours and a half, and we're not even halfway there. So I'm starting to be a bit scared that we won't have enough time to go over there, get to the other side of the island and then come back, because at 5 the ferry leaves and I'm not gonna stay on this island whatsoever. So it's 1:30 right now, leaves us 5. We should have enough time to do the entire round, this hike. I'm starting to doubt it. Oh, what a place this is. Actually, it's really hard not to stop, take like pictures every 10 meters, so that's the issue, really. We made it to the Arctic Circle in Iceland!
Nobody can stop us.
Not even ourselves. Yay!
I nearly stopped a few times, I'll be honest.
I am shocked that we made it.
Can I lean against the statue?
Yes, you can get a tan. So, as I said, Grimsey Island in Iceland. It's a tiny island in the north part of Iceland. You have to take a 3-hour ferry to get here. It runs about 3 times a week, or in the summer I think it runs every day of the week, working day. And here it's not just that this is the only place where you can cross the Arctic Circle line in Iceland. It's just that this tiny island, which is only 5 square kilometers in total area, only has a part of it in the Arctic Circle, and they have a monument for it. And this is it. It's this ball. What's the weight of this?
I think it's 5. It has 5 tons, and they have to keep moving it because apparently I'm not very good at science. But the line for the Arctic Circle moves every year a few meters. So
a bit
eventually
north, yeah, because
it'll just land in the sea.
the north pole is actually moving, it's migrating every year. So that's how they have to recalculate.
That's
the
how science
Arctic
works.
Yeah. And that's why they have to move the monument, which is this very heavy ball of cement, every year. And at some point, I was joking, they're just gonna, you know, because it's a ball, they could roll it and then leave it in the ocean at some point, because there will be no need to have it. Because, well, they calculate a bit, something about 16 meters per year it moves. So I don't know if you noticed, but this is the end of the island. This is a headland over there, and it's ending, and this is basically the Atlantic Ocean, or maybe the Arctic Ocean over there. I'm not really sure how they count, but this is it. Believe it or not, what drew me to this place, even before I reached Iceland, I was looking at the map and I was looking for ferries or stuff to do in Iceland. There are not exactly on the course of most tourists. I mean, it's touristic, but it's not really near Reykjavik, where most tourists hang out. And I found this ferry. I was like, oh, can you imagine what if I managed to get there, and by that time, like, I didn't have a plan to get a car or anything. I was like, wow, that seems so off the beaten track. And then somehow I forgot about that idea. And then I realized, like, oh, for midsummer they must have a festival. And I read on their official website, Visit Iceland, that the main celebration, if you really want to celebrate midsummer, which is the summer solstice, and it's sun at midnight, the sun never sets because it's in the Arctic Circle, you have to come here because this is the only point which is in the Arctic Circle in Iceland. And I was like, yeah, let's go, let's do that, because, you know, summer solstice, midsummer, like there's even a very popular movie about it. Well, this place actually is not creepy at all, but and then I read about it, and they said, like, yeah, they have some celebration and stuff. And then we got here this morning, I mean midday, and then I realized there's 60 people living on this island. It's kind of hard to have a celebration with only 60 people and then maybe 30 more that are tourists. Like, fun and games and family stuff were promised, but there's no such thing. So if you're here for midsummer celebrations, as I am, I'm very sorry to announce that there's no such thing. However, the sun does not set for an entire month here. So basically it just almost touches the horizon line and then rises up again, which I'm really confused about because I'm not really a huge astronomer or astrologer. I don't know, the person that studies the planets. I might appear stupid, but I do not know exactly how this works, because when the sun sets, it sets in the west, right? And then it should rise from the east. So I think there's some weird movement of the planet that's happening here. So I think that's might be a thing that's worth witnessing. So if you come here, there's a camping to guest house. Of course, they're all busy. The camping not so much. Bring your tent and then you can pitch it here. And if you're really lucky, like I am today, and you have this clear sky and beautiful weather. Actually, this is like t-shirt weather, but like I have a lot of layers on me because I wasn't sure what I was going to see here. But it's like super warm, and then you can stay in a tent and then witness this spectacle of nature, and that's really amazing. So that's worth coming here for if you're into nature and witnessing this very weird phenomena called midnight sun. Wow. Now, my next dilemma is, should I lift the drone over here? Because I don't know if you can see, but there are a lot of birds here. We read on some website that around here there is one humor for every 10,000 birds. So there are a lot of birds. two of them attacked Edward earlier, so I'm not really sure if we should lift it or not. Get it off the ground. Although I saw some other people getting a drone up, like 1 kilometer that way. Seemed okay. So we've been walking around for like 3 hours and we're still in the middle of the island. To be honest, we stopped a bunch of times for photos, for taking pictures with our drone, for a lot of stuff. As I said, there are a bunch of trails that you can take, but probably the most interesting one is the one that leads to the monument of the Arctic Circle, because everybody that was on the ship was there at some point, so basically we all met there later on. I also noticed that some people hired like a local guide or something, because there were some cars driving the people that were also on the ship around and explaining like the points of interest. I don't know. I think you can do without, but if you're into that, maybe you should know. You can hire a local guide and show you the crevices and the hills of the island, but you can do it on your own for sure. If you're lucky, like we are today with this great weather, you can even wear like summer clothes. However, I think it's wise to come prepared like we did, because you never know, you are on an island. So with that being said, I really hope that after this hill we're gonna end back in the town here, because we should be back by 5. Oh. Ah! We should be back by 5 at the ferry, because I heard that they do not wait and some tourists were left behind in the past. And the mystery of the birds continues. In the middle of the island seems to be a flock of birds. I'm not sure about the species, but they're like very thin and with a thin beak, and they seem to want to attack us because they come really close and then they make some oh god. They're attacking us. Great shot, great shot. I never thought I will die attacked by birds. Here you go. So this is the airport, and this is the village, and that's the ferry waiting for us. So as I said, there are 60 people on this island that live here, and the birds seem to be very angry. Angry birds! They do not like us. I find it fascinating that even though Oh. Even though it's a very small island, they cut the grass, do the gardening stuff, make it look pretty. It's kind of nice. And we made it back to the city. Our ferry is still there waiting for us. It's 4:20, so we have 40 minutes to spare. We're not gonna be late. We don't want to be late because ferry does leave on time, 5 p.m. sharp. But we still have enough time to go to this side of the village town island and see another colony of puffins because they're also here. Actually, they're on all sides. So wherever you go, if you go by the water, you'll see a lot of puffins going all over the place. I think we found a local school. They only do the primary gymnasium here. For high school, you have to go to the big island over there, which is 3 hours away by ferry. But it looks very interesting how they set everything up for themselves.
Lovely.
Yeah, this place is definitely a heaven for bird watchers. I saw a lot of photographers. And this one is a friendly one. Hello. I like to presume this one is the local pool. Do you think it's a pool? I hope so. Also, there are a lot of cars here, although there is only one road. The question is why?
Look, there's the church.
Oh, there's a church. Oh yeah, 2 years ago they had a nice wooden church that burned. Now they rebuilt it, but it's not as nice. Yeah. I have to say that I'm pretty fascinated by these basalt columns that are quite present here in Iceland. But here on Grimsey, there's also the same structure. It looks very familiar. They're hexagonal columns, and they broke after years and years of existence, probably, I don't know, tens of thousands of years. And also what's really intriguing is that in Northern Ireland, there's a place called the Giant's Causeway, and they have the same structure, and you can go walk on the columns there. It's right in the water as it ends, like by the end of the island. And well, there's a legend how the giants built it, but actually there are some theories saying that at some point, some millennia ago, Ireland was connected to Iceland, and yeah, basically they have the same structure. So I'm really keen to see the rest of the columns in Iceland, in the main island, tomorrow, but I'm really fascinated by these ones. And that was it. That was our trip to Grimsey. We are already on the ferry. It's gonna leave in a few minutes. And it's full. We are so tired and the sun is shining like crazy.
Really white.
Yeah, you are really white. It's the sunscreen. So do wear sunscreen when you're coming in the summer in Grimsey because the sun is really bright. It's 9:30 and we made it to our accommodation. Luckily, I had the brilliance to book a hotel just 20 kilometers away from the ferry from Dalvik. And actually it's a very nice accommodation. I really recommend it, and it's really quite affordable. I don't know how I found it. It was like 85 euros for a night, and it's amazing considering we are in Iceland. It looks really good, great rating. Well, what I have to say is that today was amazing, so if you have the chance to visit Grimsey, please do check the weather. Also, maybe, you know, you can choose a day when there's like a best forecast that you can get, because I cannot imagine going to the island in the middle of the ocean and having a rainy day. I mean, that would be like very apocalyptic, so if you're into that, maybe go for it, but otherwise just choose a day that's cloudy and sunny, and maybe you'll get lucky, because for today it was supposed to be cloudy, but we had the most amazing weather and I'm so grateful. It was such a great day and I am grateful for going on this trip. So I do recommend going on this trip in north part of Iceland. It's amazing, breathtaking, everything. I cannot film everything because you would get bored, but do come if you have the time. It's amazing. North of Iceland is wow. It's a really beautiful place. Bring warm clothes, you never know when it's gonna rain. And bring snacks, you know, pack food, because they have kitchen here in the accommodation and everywhere you go. You know, big picnic stuff if you go on an island. You know, just enjoy your time. Grimsey is amazing. I do hope you get to visit it during your Iceland trip. Thank you for watching and see you next time.